morning. You know, sometimes you wake up and you dread having to do something in the morning. For me, it's that. Putting the socks on. Putting my socks on. All summer long, I run around barefoot. My running shoes, whatever. Call it gross, call it whatever you want, but come fall and winter, you gotta put socks on. And fuck, I hate putting socks on. Not only do I hate wearing them, but I fucking hate putting them on. Although since I dropped a few pounds on the front here, getting the socks on is not as bad, but I still hate it. I still hate doing it. Note to self. I gotta put my Keurig back in here. I'm finding more and more times I'm parked at the customer. There's no coffee. So I'm gonna have to start putting the Keurig. I'm gonna put the Keurig back in here. It's just a single cup Keurig. I took it out of the truck. I took it out to clean it and I just never put it back in, but I'm gonna have to put the Keurig back in. Gotta have coffee in the morning. Gotta have coffee. I ain't wearing no pants. So as you can, ooh, bare legs, eh? That means I ain't wearing no pants. It's too hard to put your socks on when you're wearing jeans. Anyway, these guys open at 7:30. It's 20 after. And I've got a 7:30 appointment, so let's get her dressed here and let's go kick in a door. Let's get this shit off. Because I got somewhere. I got to get over to Fremont, which is 60 miles away. I want to try to be back up to the yard tonight. Get another load, maybe turn around. Grab a load out of the yard, turn around and get back down into the U.S. tonight. Let's see what we can do. If I can keep averaging about 600 a day, we're doing really well over the last couple of weeks. 620, 625, 630. Ran out 7 and change last week. Got one day 700 and something. If we can keep that average up, it's good. It's good. I'm just checking the mirror. Looking in the mirror, I can see there's somebody back there, the back of the trailer. So I'm gonna go see what they want, see if they want to get this going. Anyway, good morning to you. Go get coffee. We'll check back in with you in a bit. So, this is what I was talking about last night, right? Here's the oh, hold on. First of all, here's the plant. Small little plant. And that's a railroad crossing, and I just about took the skirts off the trailer coming over that. You could catch air. If you were going fast enough in a car or a motorcycle, you would definitely get air on that. And then these people here, these are the houses I was talking about. And this guy here at the end of his driveway, please stay off driveway and lawn. And then they put great big rocks all along here so that you can't. So basically you have to come in that way. You come in from that street way down there, come across the tracks, and you have to nose yourself into the intersection here Now, luckily for me, at 9 o'clock last night, there was nobody here. I think we got a homeless guy walking through. Anyway, so you put your nose right to the nose of that corner there, right where that guy's standing. And then you have to back in. Now, they were good about it, and they actually widened the driveway so you could make the turn. But yeah, not the toughest back in I've ever had to do, but the sure shit didn't make it easy. So anyway, we got the green light, we're empty. And we're gonna get the hell out of here. We're going over to Fremont. Like, oh shit, I didn't catch it. A car just went over those tracks. It's like, that's how big the hill is. He went over the tracks and you can't see him. He went down the down the other side. Hold on, just for shits and giggles. I just turned the truck on, so I'm killing some time here because I need it to warm up a bit. I've had my bunk heater on, so the engine's already warm because I've got the engine heater as well. So, but look at this hill. Like, I'm walking up a fucking hill right now. And then that's down the other side. Like, Jesus. The fucking air's thinner up here. I'm higher in my truck. Like right now, the top of my head is probably, if I was standing beside my truck, the top of my head would be at where my truck is. The top of my truck. I own the truck, I don't own the trailer, so. Sorry, Bruce, if your skirts take a hit here. They came across last night, they didn't take a hit, so we're gonna go back out, so hopefully they'll be all right. Sorry, the camera's a little jerky here. I've got a new phone, I've got the new iPhone, and it doesn't fit my stabilizer very well, so I've got to get a new stabilizer as well, though. Anyway. What do we got for temperature? Oh, we're good. Engine's warm. Not bad, eh? Not too bad at all. 458 miles. 10.1 miles per gallon. I'm good with that. I am good with that. Anyway, I'm out of here. We'll catch you in a bit. I just heard the weirdest thing. Actually, it's not a weird thing, but it's something that kind of puts life in perspective for you. When you think about, you know, where we are, where we come from, the type of people we are. So right now I'm in New York State. I'm in the Native Pride. I'm on the reserve. And I just went inside, bought a couple of cigars. I had to replace some cigars from my son-in-law, Mike. Most of you saw in the lives, he spoiled me two weeks in a row there, so I had to replace a couple of his cigars. But as I come walking out, this elderly lady and her husband, I'm assuming it's her husband, were coming out of the restaurant, and they were walking right past me, and they were in mid-sentence, but she was talking to him, and she says, well, for God's sakes, she's 16 years old, and she's on her third child. I fucking stopped what I was doing. I mean, like, I literally stopped walking. She's 16 years old and she's on her third child. Holy shitballs. You know, and they were two native, they were a native couple. Like, they weren't like a white couple or anything. They were a native couple. I'm assuming that they were talking about, you know, another native. Although, you know, fuck these days, I could be wrong, but 16 years old and she's on her third child.
I gotta get this started. My 30 minutes is up here. So she got pregnant when she was 13, had the first one when she was 14, got pregnant again at 14, dropped another when she was 15, got pregnant again, and now she's 16 and she's on her third one. First one 13, second one 14, third one 15, dropped the last third one on 16. And I sit there and think, fuck, we got 5 daughters. And none of them have any kids. And it's like, Jesus. Makes me wonder. It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder about how other people in the country, and this is the United States, but for all intents and purposes, man, I could be sitting on any one of the reserves in Canada and they are identical to this. So it doesn't matter that I'm sitting in the US right now, but it just makes me sit and think, you know, these people got a hardship going on down here. The battles and struggles that they go through. Yeah, you could sit there and go, well, you know, if her parents were teaching her better, or if she was, you know, she wouldn't have this problem if she kept her legs closed. There's 100 fucking things you could say. But at this time right now, all I feel is pity. I feel sorry for this kid. It just took me by surprise. A lot of things in life, actually most things in life, do not surprise me. It takes a lot to surprise me. This one here, just for a few moments, stopped me in my tracks and made me like, what? You know? I just thought it a little something I'd share. I don't know how anybody else feels, or how it, you know, if anybody else has ever been affected. It's a different world when you come onto these reserves. You know, this is not Toronto. This is not New York City. This is not you know, Chicago. You know, this is a different fucking world out here. And the rules and regulations and the ways that they live and their traditions are so much different than ours. They really are. You know, getting pregnant at 13 out here is probably not even a big deal. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. You know, if I'd have come in the door at 13 and told my mom and dad that I'd knocked someone up, oh my God. It's not likely I'd be breathing right now with my father. Not likely I'd be breathing. Anyway, I'm gonna get off this reserve and get back onto the highway and make my way. I should be back at the yard. I should be back at the yard tonight. Sometime around 9:30 tonight, I should be back, rolled into the yard. Hopefully they've got something else for me I can just hook and go with. Oh well. Either way, talk to you later. Oh, excuse me. I've not done a lot of shooting at night. I'm not sure how this is actually going to show up with this camera. It's supposed to be really good, but time will tell. I'm racing right now to get to the border. In the United States, we're only allowed to drive for 11 hours and be on duty for 14. But in Canada, we're allowed to be on duty for 14 and drive for 13, and we don't require a half-hour break. And if you take 2 hours off in no less than 30-minute increments throughout your day, you can extend your day to 16 hours. So one of the benefits we have, and that I'm taking advantage of today, is I'm going to make it to the border before my 11 hours of driving is up. switch to my Canadian logbook, which will then give me 2 more hours of driving. So that's what I'm actually trying to do. I'm trying to get to the border. I got 79 miles up to the border in Lansdowne or Alexandria Bay in New York. And I'm basically manipulating the logbooks, right? I'm manipulating the logbooks. I only got to go 60 miles past the border to get to the yard. So I know I can do that in 2 hours, but I have to make it to the border before my 11 hours is up, right? If you're like a couple of miles short and you don't make it, you know, you're shutting down at the border or wherever you're shutting down, and that's where you're spending the night. So I've got 78 miles to the border, and I've got 1 hour and 39 minutes. So I should be okay. I should be able to make it up there with about 15 minutes to spare. Now, if I get up there and there's a lineup and I gotta sit there for 15, 20 minutes, again, that could jam me up a little bit, but it's learning how to manipulate the system, right? All I'm doing is I'm taking legal logbooks, but I'm manipulating them for my own use. Now in Canada, we only got to take an 8-hour break, like an 8-hour in the sleeper. But because I'm coming back down into the States tomorrow, I do need to take 10 hours off in Canada. But if, for example, say I was delivering in Montreal tomorrow, and then I was reloading in Montreal, and then I was going out to Michigan, I was probably only be staying in Canada. I wouldn't be going into the States all day tomorrow. I'd be spending the whole day tomorrow in Canada. I'd only take 8 hours off, and then shut down tomorrow night and take my 10 hours off, and then cross into the U.S. There's lots of little, you know, things that we can do. A lot of you guys in the States don't come into Canada or don't cross the border, so a lot of these you guys don't know or don't really apply to you because they can make a difference. But these are the things that, with the little games that we play, you know, the government lays out the rules. How the fuck you lay it out. I'm going to find the loopholes, and I'm going to use every single rule to my advantage. And, you know, being a cross-border driver, it's mandatory that you learn these. You know, mandatory that you learn these. Too many guys have lost time and loads and hours and days because they fucked up borders, taken violations because they don't know the rules in both countries. You know, if you're an American and you're coming into Canada and all you're doing is planning on coming into Canada, getting your offload the next morning, getting offloaded, and then reloading and coming back, and stay on your US book. You know, stay on your US book. Unless, of course, you're at your 11-hour mark and you need the 2 hours, then flip over. Every E-log, as far as I know, has the option to switch over. Canadian, US back to Canadian, whatever. Because if you start flip-flopping back and forth and you don't know the rules, you can be on Canadian rules. And, you know, for example, here's another example I've seen guys do. They'll drive past their 11 hours, right? And they're legal in Canada, say they've been driving 12 hours. Then they cross the border, and as soon as they cross the border, they're in violation. Because in the US, you're only allowed to drive for 11. But as soon as you cross that border, the logbook automatically puts you in violation because you're now on a US clock. So if you're a US driver and you're coming into Canada, and all you're doing is coming in the next morning, or coming in, crossing the border like tonight, delivering in the morning, reloading, and then coming back out same day, stay on your US clock. Don't fuck around flipping back and forth. Me, I flip them back and forth because I use them to my advantage, and I do this, you know, twice, sometimes 3 times a week. I'm popping back and forth, so there's just a little lesson in logbooks. You know, the differences between Canada and the US and what we can do.
We made it. Made it to the yard. Was gonna
supposed to deliver this into Craft, into Montreal. But my trailer developed a leak, and we didn't want to take the chance of running it all the way into Quebec. Coming all the way home here, I only had, there was no scales, right? You run the 90, then the 81 pretty much all the way out of Cleveland. There's no scales. Now, the leak wasn't severe by any means. It was like there was no danger of anything happening. It was just a slight air leak, but it was partly audible. So instead of spending the money and coming, like doing it out on the road, it's cheaper for us to just bring the trailer back here and let them fix it. So, but we're not taking it into Quebec because you got to go across scales and everything like that. So it was just easier to bring it back here. So I'm going to go take the paperwork and hand it in at where it gets handed in here. And the driver's lounge here has a microwave. And so I'm going to heat up some dinner. Wow, that one's bright, eh? I'm going to heat up some dinner. And I think my load for tomorrow is already here in the yard. So I'm going to check and see what that entails. I know where I'm going. It's a whoop-de-doo load to Berlin. Oh, and we've got, there's our famous driver, Andrew. He's sitting, are you waiting for my load? No? All right. That's good. So I'm going to drop this, heat up my dinner, and go to bed. See you down the road.
Get my friction on.